That's what I feel like right now. If I had a beer and I could drink in public, I would, because just one beer though, with low alcohol content, because this entire mess that we're going through right now is stupid. It is stupid, stupid, stupid. And I don't know if y'all have been up in the news lately, but where I live in Georgia, they are Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, is going to reopen some businesses like restaurants. Okay, so they're going to open up. They're going to reopen restaurants, um, and some other places on Monday, next Monday, April 27th, and then they're going to reopen like barbers, hair salons, nail salons, uh, bowling alleys. Excuse me, on Friday. And why it just like, yeah, I get it. We're all kind of tired of this quarantine, and we're tired of doing this, tired of doing that, but that doesn't give us the right to just open things up. And yeah, I understand that there are a lot of guidelines, strict guidelines that have to be followed. But the thing about companies is that they will follow the guidelines, and then they will just go back to a dumpster when they are not being checked upon. And that is the reality. Like, you don't like you walk into a nice restaurant and you think that, if you walk into a really nice premium restaurant, yeah, they're going to take things more seriously, especially in the kitchen and in where the customer is. But you walk into a normal restaurant, like an average restaurant like Olive Garden, or where I work, Carrabba's, you're going to have um, you know, let's just say guidelines are going to be set, but they're not going to be followed that closely. And if they are, I'd be surprised, because that's why we always talk about, how does McDonald's get like an A on their health inspection? Somebody probably pays them off, because it's probably true. Because when OSHA comes to McDonald's, yeah, McDonald's is all prepared for it, but when they leave, it just, like I said, it goes back to a dumpster. They just like, but anyway, this whole thing about reopening, I'm in complete agreement with Dr. Fauci, because he said that opening up too early can lead to a backlash, and he thinks it's just too soon. And to me, I believe in him. I believe him because, not in him, but I believe him because, to me, reopening the economy up is too soon right now. I get that, and I think really it's because there's a lot of pressure on these governors. And because if you looked at any of the news over the past week or weekend, past week slash week, there have been a lot of protests. And I think it's not just because like of the guidelines. I think some states are having more strict guidelines than others. And I get for protesting that, but like I saw a protest where nurses were standing out and blocking a protest in Colorado, and I support those nurses, because this is ridiculous. Like, why can't you just enjoy a break that we have? Like, we don't get to have a break like this where you don't have to go to work. You get to work from home in your pajamas. Like, come on now. What more could you ask for? Like, and if you're under unemployment, you get a lot of money from the state that you're in, plus federal money. Like, I understand that some people, there are a lot of situations where people don't get that, and I get it. Like, yeah, it sucks, but you shouldn't just like act like that your rights are stripped, even though, like, I don't feel like any of my rights are stripped. Like, I I don't understand. I'm enjoying this break. I'm enjoying the time that I get to spend with my family. I'm enjoying myself as much as I can. And that is the attitude that I've always had since this has started. Is, yeah, I knew it was going to suck. I knew it was going to be a marathon, but I knew what I had to do, and I knew I couldn't let myself, go down in the hole. Like, I had to be optimistic, and that's just who I am at heart. I'm an optimistic person. I'm not going to think about things in a bad way. As long as I can do one thing that, if you don't already know this about me, I I find value in the simple things of life. That is why, like, I like that is why, for me, I'm always just a chill person, because even the simplest things can make me happy. And whether I don't show that emotion is my own personal choice, which I don't show emotion that much. And I don't really know a reason why for that. That's just how I am. But um, yeah, so for me personally, I think that I like Trump's three-phase plan, but I feel like pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, there's going to be a backlash, a major backlash of the COVID-19, because I think I even saw part of the article I was reading where Brian Kemp had said that people will contract the disease if we're going to be able to go back out. And it's like my little brother said, it's like it's almost impossible to maintain 6 feet. And now they're even saying, I read an article that saying that it can go beyond 6 feet, which I don't doubt it, you know. Now the other articles, they're having just misinformation. That's just, you have to take that with a grain of salt. But the moral of this video is, you know, like, just use common sense and realize that maybe we're pushing this too, like, I get that there's a lot of pressure on the governors, but you don't need to be pressurized, because just a week ago Kemp was saying that, like, oh, it's too early to reopen, and now he's saying that, like, you know hospitalization rates are going down. The statistics are showing that the rates are going down. I'm like, you don't know if somebody's still sick out there. Like, yeah, like, everything is kind of we're reaching that point where we reached the peak and now we're going down, but we don't have a vaccine for this. And it's like I've always said, it's like I tell my parents a lot. It's like Bill Gates said, like, I don't know why there's so much backlash on Bill Gates, but I like him. Anyway, what he said was that we're not going to go back to normal until there is a vaccine or a treatment, because do I want to go into a bowling alley where there's tons of people, and yeah, I might be in a group of my friends and I might be social distancing from other groups of people, but the virus can linger in the air for anywhere from 4 to 6 hours or maybe even longer. And I'm just not gonna feel comfortable, like, knowing that I could still contract the virus, whether or not I have a mask on. Like, I could still contract it. Like, the mask is only, like, good for a certain amount, a percentage. And, we don't have access to N95 masks because the medical workers need that. And so, I don't know. I'm kind of in shock that Georgia is making this move. It's a bold move, and it's a high health stake, because it's not something that needs to be done right now. Like, it just, and then there's the other fact that you have workers that they're forced to go back to work, and if they were drawing unemployment, the unemployment ends, because unless they're able to make less money than their weekly benefit amount, and it's different from state to state. But you have people that are forced to go back to work, and what if they don't feel comfortable going back to a workspace where they feel like they could contract COVID-19? Well, since they don't have unemployment, or if they're in a situation where they don't have any money, whether, like, and because they don't have unemployment, or they just are using money that they saved up, or they just don't have any money at all, they're forced to go back to work. Like, my little brother was telling me that that one of his friends, he's forced to go to work because if he doesn't go to work, he can't pay his rent. And it's just like, it's another one of those things that's like, it's just that's why I took a second and I vaped, because it made me just realize, like, this is a complicated mess. And that's why I said, like, if I could have a beer, I would, because this whole thing is just complicated. And yeah, it's a lot of pressure to take on, and I could sense how much pressure it would be, because you don't want protests to happen in Georgia. You don't want this, and this. But, like, I don't know. Like, it's just, for me personally, I'm fine. And if my work tries to call me back in, I'm just going to straight up say something. I'm not, right now, personally, I'm not comfortable with going to work, knowing that I could contract the virus. And I have people in my house that have weak immune systems, and especially my parents, they're of the upper age module where the percentage gets higher as you get older, and they're of that age group that needs to stay at home. So I personally would not go back to work because of that. If I, if I lose my job, then I lose my job. That's fine with me. I'll just go somewhere else, but I doubt that's going to happen. But it's just things like that. It's like, if you live alone and you don't, I mean, I don't know. For me, there was a lot of pressure in the beginning of going out because young people are less, what you see in the news is almost fake news, because all of the hospitalization rates are saying that people that have gotten and died from the virus are of an older age, or they have an underlying condition, and statistical proof has said that younger people, yeah, they some people do get it, and some people die from it at a younger age. But just because the news says that, you need to do your own research and realize that they're just saying that to keep people inside. That was that whole drama that I researched, and I realized that, oh, well, they're just saying that because of this. Yeah, but then I started realizing that me being asymptomatic, I could put somebody else's life in danger, and that's a lot of pressure. Like, I could be the reason that somebody else dies, and that's why I get mad at all these protests going on, because they don't realize that they could all be contracting the virus and they could be responsible for somebody else's death. And that's another reason that probably the governors have a lot of pressure on them, is because they realize they don't want that to happen. They don't want more problems to occur when they could just fix it. But doing the things that they're doing now is just too soon. That's it. That's all there is to it. If I were to make a brief message, going back to reopen the economy the way that Georgia is doing it is too soon. And they need to back off, because they need to listen to Dr. Fauci. This guy's been with 7, 8 presidents, and he knows what he's talking about. But anyway, that's it for this video. I'll keep you guys updated on what comes out in the news, because this is just, at this point, this is a popcorn show to me. Like, next thing you know, you're going to catch me on here with a beer, because this is ridiculous. And I won't be in my car if I have a video where I'm drinking a beer. I'll be in thy house. Anyway, catch you on the next video. Peace out. By the way, please drink alcohol responsibly.